I let love, I let go, I release, and I know I forgive, I receive, I can feel, I believe, I am healed, I am whole, I release, I know. No need to push, no need to try, no need to worry or question why. Surrender, let go, release, and know. go. I release, and I know I forgive, I receive, I can feel, I believe, I am healed, I am whole, I release, I know. No need to push, no need to try, no need to worry or question why. Surrender, let go, release, and know.
This time, I choose to get off the grid and step inside the heart, to be myself. Welcome to the Brahma Kumaris, where a new world is opened up for you. From humble beginnings in India in 1936 to a global organization with over 8,000 centers in 110 countries and 1 million students worldwide. Through their tireless commitment, passionate heart, and determined spirit, the Brahma Kumaris arrived in America in 1974 and have since grown to 35 main centers throughout America. There are also 2 residential retreat centers, Peace Village, located in upstate New York, and Anubhuti, located in Novato, California.
I want to just share a little bit about how the centers of Raj Yoga meditation began in United States. Actually, I was in Caribbean islands and I got invitation from New York that we want to start something about meditation. And it was in 1978 I came here and we rented a very small apartment in Astoria. And from there I found that a lot of people have interest. I realized that there is so much need, and from there onwards then centers started in many other states.
Our centers are safe spaces where you can explore the power of your inner world.
The classes are conducted in many homes, many cities all over across the United States. A lot of people, they learn meditation, they use it, that meditation at their workplace, in their family, and also I find that children, young adults, because they are so much into like what really is the life about.
The Brahma Kumaris are dedicated to personal and global transformation through the study and spiritual practice of Raj Yoga meditation. And at the heart of our teaching is the belief that the pathway to peace and happiness is to remember our original nature as spiritual beings connected to the one source. In 1981, the organization received recognition as an international non-governmental organization affiliated with the United Nations and accredited with general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council. From organizing large-scale global initiatives to local community programs, the Brahma Kumaris has a tradition of service in every field that fosters spiritual growth among individuals from all backgrounds, cultures, and walks of life.
I hold on to this vision, the world of love, world of peace and harmony, world which is free from conflict and sorrow, where we can live as brothers, one family, children of common parents, one supreme divine power.
This is your invitation to awaken and join us in creating a world of love, peace, and kindness. Om Shanti. Hi everyone, Om Shanti. Welcome to the next normal. I can't believe we're in this place right now. I just can't believe it. I was thinking about us, having this conversation about rolling out our new show because when we first started, when the pandemic began and we closed all of our centers around the world, we just sat there and the next day we said, well, we're here for service. And for those of you who's been with us from March 16th, I hope you like this. And I hope you'll enjoy the new format and the whole energy and the vibe, because we really feel that we have to begin to prepare ourselves for what the next normal is. But I really want to thank everyone who's been with us since March 16th. when we started to do our show before this, Spiritual Vaccine, it's because, as we all know, with this pandemic, we've been looking for a vaccine. And in the deepest of our hearts, we know with all of our being, the vaccine is something inside. It's a cure of our minds, that we really needed to be able to fix this powerful resource that we've got here that needs its own vaccine. Now, we did over about 130 shows or more. 140. I wasn't counting. But Santosh, who does all of the technology behind the scenes to keep it going, says we've done 140 shows every single night. And we loved it. But we felt it was time for a change. Things are opening up slowly but surely. We're not sure if we're going to reopen our meditation museums. The two of them are closed here in the nation's capital. Some of our centers are opening up slowly but surely, but they're catering to the advanced meditation students who have been practicing the Brahma Kumaris teachings for a long time. So I'm still sitting on the fence with what to do. Of course, economy is always a factor, but also safety for us mostly is the factor. And how will we be available for the community when they really, really need us? And in what state is staff and all of us going to be prepared to take care of the inner needs of everybody who comes into those doors? So we're still sitting on that. So as we've been talking and I'm looking more into the future, it's like, what is the next normal? A lot of people are talking about a new normal, perhaps, but what is the next one too? And how do we prepare for it? So I wanted the show to be launched on this particular day, August 25th. And it's the year 2020. What a year it has been. I just don't know what 2020 meant to the world. But on this particular day, 13 years ago, my spiritual mentor, Dadi Prakashmani, left her body and flew away to play another part. And I remember that day very specifically. In morning meditation, I felt her presence. And that particular day on the Washington Mall, we were hosting a huge event right near to Capitol Hill called the Tree of Blessings, which was actually a dovetail of one of her initiatives that we would host in the nation's capital. And that was the morning we went out early in the morning to do the morning class, host the events. I think the temperature that day must have been 99 degrees. It was so hot. I got my ticket to go to India. I went back to the house. I sat down. I felt her presence. And she just says, I haven't gone anywhere, you know. I'm still here. And there was something in that energy. Like she says, you really don't need to go to the trouble to come and see me off in that way. I'm still here. That was the power of her energy. She has a way of showing up in your life where only the best of the best is showered on you. So we wanted to launch the next normal for all of you, our friends who've been with us. And if you're joining us for the first time, you're joining in a show that will talk about life, God, karma, see what we need to do to build our future. We will look into finance, we'll look into social issues, we'll look at our health areas, we'll look at education, we'll look at civil situations that are going on. We're going to look at some of the current issues that we are grappling with as people and what will be the spiritual response to these particular times. What is our next normal? Nobody knows. The only thing I know that our spiritual community feels is that the next normal or the new normal will be extremely enlightened people. Now, are you going to choose to be one of those? If you join us every night, Monday through Friday at 6:30 to 7:30, we guarantee that you will really feel a deep connection to the self. So what I'd like to do before I move on for the rest of the show is to invite you into my world of Dadi Prakashmani, who over about 1 million students around the world today kept giving their good wishes and their blessings, but also we were feeling the presence of her purity and her smile and her power and her lightness. When she came to visit me on June 10th, 1999, nothing stayed the same here. We held a massive event at the National Press Club I remember we had our friend Klaus Nobel, Val Halamandaris from the Home Care Organization, and Lexi Brockway Potamkin. And we addressed a whole slew of journalists and leaders in Washington, D.C. And the topic was Reverence for Peace. We got a beautiful letter from the then President Clinton. At that particular time, he wasn't able to come because they were signing the peace treaty in Kosovo. That was on June 10th, 1999. I remember that very well. But it was also on that day, the former mayor Anthony Williams presented to Daddy the proclamation of Daddy Prakashmani Day, a day for peace. And since that day, every year in the nation's capital, we honored her presence and the role that she played of values by initiating a project or a program in the city to bring to life values. So we have done at least 19 citywide initiatives, and I can honestly say each and every one of them have marked something deep in terms of how your life can make such an impact. And sometimes you don't have to be in a place for years to make an impact. Sometimes you can just pass right through as a breath of fresh air. So could it be that the next normal is about you elevating your life to such an extent you don't have to struggle and fight so much anymore to try to be what you don't even know what you're supposed to be? Maybe your next normal is to become wise, to become pure, to really look deep inside of your heart and recognize what is your truth versus your illusion. Maybe the next normal is unity in your community. Maybe your next normal is to be able to accept what you don't like, but know that you won't feed into it. Maybe it's all about love and care and compassion. So I introduce to you our beloved spiritual mentor, Daddy Prakashmani, who has been the rock of the Brahma Kumaris for so many years, for almost 80 years. And now it's been 13 years since he's passed, and everything has just blossomed, even though she's not here. It's the sign of the greatness of her leadership. Enjoy her. So few are those souls in our world in which their mere presence of peace and purity, without saying a word, can emerge great gifts to humanity. On June 10th, Daddy Prakashmani came to Washington, D.C. in 1999 for a few hours. And since that short visit, an official government peace tree in honor of Daddy Prakashmani was planted on Capitol Hill. And since then, there has been 18 citywide and global initiatives in her honor for Daddy Prakashmani Day. As we visit her ascension of August 25th, we take this time to pause and celebrate the purity, the compassion, the love, the peace, and the presence of this soul who dedicated her entire life to be of service by loving God. Her love for God and the divine and humanity was so natural, so natural. Her smile would lighten up a room, and her eyes always had this twinkle that reminded you of your innocence. So may the world come to understand the power of this great soul who walked so peacefully and purely, yet left a trail of abundance and fortune and gifts behind. Om Shanti. I hope you got a chance to feel the energy, an energy that so many of us have been raised with for a very long time. And the bar is high. I have to tell you that the bar is high. It's not impossible, but it's high. And I think that's why so many of us wake up every day giving it another shot to be the best that we can be. I'm doubly excited because the next normal is about having conversations with friends around the globe. individuals that are doing something special with their lives just by being themselves. I had a chance to meet Bonny Meyer through Beth Grossman, who introduced us to have her on the America Meditating radio show. And I don't know, there's a click between us. I can't necessarily say I know what it is, but you meet someone and you just know them. And it's not of this lifetime, but it's of something of the heart, and it's something much deeper. So I asked Bonny to be a part of the launch of our new show. And I'd like to introduce you a little bit to who Bonny Meyer is that we're about to have a conversation with. Bonny Meyer is the principal of Meyer Family Enterprises, an investment company dedicated to the regeneration of the planet and society, and she's a partner in Meyer Family Cellars. It's a winery, by the way, I don't drink, run by her son and her daughter-in-law, and she has been acknowledged by Forbes Magazine and the financial industry as a pioneer of impact and regenerative investing. Bonny joins us today to discuss her new memoir, Perfectly Paired, The Love Affair Behind Silver Oak Cellars, and I've also asked her to talk about some tips and advice in how we can manage our finance in this kind of coming out of this pandemic particular phase. Can you please give her a thumbs up and warmly welcome Bonny Meyer to The Next Normal. So nice to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Sister Jenna. Wonderful being here with you.
Same here. Now, I get the idea that you are sort of almost in the midst of the storm, but the brush fires happening in California, have they all died down now?
No, they haven't, but they're more contained than they were. And some
Okay,
people
good.
are beginning to return to their homes. Some people don't have homes to return to, but things are beginning to calm down.
It's been a very interesting year, Bonny, to say the least. 2020 has awakened us in ways that we never thought we could ever awaken. We've had to let go of a lot of things. Many of us are revisiting our lives. We're doing reflections to really look at where we have traveled so far. And few of us are thinking about a career change. And we're also a little bit concerned about the future of our financial situation. I'm curious to hear from you because I think you've made some pretty solid investments in your life. And what if there's somebody out there right now? They have some savings. They're not happy in their career. They're wondering what to do. Where can they go? What would you advise somebody in that particular situation?
Let me give you a moment of context. It was 2004 when I realized that after my husband had died, I realized that I had some investments that I didn't find compelling. And then soon after that, and I began to change and investing in regenerative ways, investing in companies that actually solve environmental, social, or economic problems. And and then later on, I did it because it was more interesting. Later on, I realized that the way we've been doing business, especially for the last 50 to 100 years, is we can't keep doing it that way. And so I've dedicated now my life to investing only in things that actually make a positive difference. And more people are feeling that way. They're disenchanted with their investments. They're disenchanted. They think about, gee, I wonder what my money is doing tonight while I sleep. I'm not sure it's up to any good. And then people in their more personal lives with their personal choices are disenchanted, and maybe their career. And so there are a lot of ways in which a person can be regenerative in their thinking. And that's where it starts, is in their heart. And it starts in your heart and in your thinking. And to carefully consider this investment that I'm making, if it's an investment, or this choice I'm making, where I buy the goods and services that I need, or my food, is this going to help make the world better? And it can be as simple as really that, just where you shop or who you do business with. And every one
Now,
of
one
those
thing
things
that
is
I've
an investment.
beautiful, one of the things that I've noticed, and maybe you can speak to it, sometimes when you go into investments of that nature, one, or secondly, you go into investments that are focused on your passions, so to speak, two, you might have been in a job that was paying you six figures at the end of the year, but you're not happy and you want to go into a job that spiritually satisfies you. And you might take a really, really big tax cut. But when you think about it on a spiritual level and an emotional level, what is the price you're paying to kill your spirit, being in a place that you don't want to be in? And so when somebody makes a decision to use their talents and their skills to fulfill something that they really passionately have always wanted to do, what would be the first step that they should take? The reason why I'm asking this question, I've known too many people who have stepped out of their six-figure comfortable jobs to go and fulfill their passions and end up can't paying the mortgage. And I've consistently told them, stay in the job until you reach a particular point with your passion where it's sustainable. That's it. That's the directions that I give them. But let's just say you just feel like you don't. You know, you're in the pandemic, it's coming out, you've saved some money because now people aren't traveling and spending that much money as they used to. So in one way, people are saving a lot of money as well if they still have their jobs. What advice would you offer somebody who's watching us today to give them that leap of faith, you know, to make an investment that would start to maybe support their deepest passion, something they've always wanted to do?
So first of all, I like what you said. Keep your day job. If you still have your day job, keep your day job first. and very slowly consider what you want to do next and who you want to work with. In terms of investments, there's an organization called RSF Finance. They make loans to nonprofits, and it's people can do that instead of having a CD. There is an organization called Social Venture Circle that is a network of people in social ventures and businesses. It's a wonderful group to join and place to be. I have made so many good friends there, and I felt I wasn't the only one. At first, I realized that when Justin and I created our very successful business, I thought that everybody managed their business that way, and they don't. And I felt like no one would understand me. And so Social Venture Network was called at the time, was a place I could go to find other people, find people that I didn't have to explain myself to. That would be a really good first step for folks, is to find that organization or another organization like it.
Beautiful. So they shouldn't just jump into the fire.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. I know, because a lot of people do that. And I've had to counsel a lot of folks who have found themselves in a position that they've been pushing their companies for 5 years and haven't received a paycheck, but they've paid everyone else in their staff. And they always say, it's important that you, when you go into any venture, that you can cut yourself a salary too, and that's going to be okay. So it's really important, everyone. So for some more advice, please go back to the recording to get some of the groups and organizations that Bonnie had mentioned if you're thinking of going into something that would just stimulate a change and help you with your investments and finances. So I want to go into a little bit of your private life. So you've written a book, and let me show everyone. And I believe you're giving some of these away free today. Ta-da! Perfectly Paired. Tell us a little bit about it. Why did you decide to write this book?
It's it's perfectly paired the love affair behind Silver Oak Cellars. People had asked me many times to write that story, to write about my love affair because it's unusual. And it was a forbidden love affair at the beginning, which is what made it unusual. Um, the man who eventually became my husband was a monk when I met him and had taken vows of chastity and was part of a monastery and community. So that makes it unusual. But it also was
To say the least.
with the power of our love. Yeah. Uh, the power of our love is what really fueled the success of our business, I believe. And so because I wanted to share some of the secrets of what other people describe to me as our extraordinary relationship. And because I didn't want it to be extraordinary, I want it to be more normal and commonplace. I believe everyone deserves to have, quote, the extraordinary relationship. I wrote it because I wanted people to see and feel how you can have a successful business without struggling, to really value the integrity and generosity and fun, those values that we cared about a lot. And it led to extraordinary success. I wanted to share what it was like to navigate grief, because we don't talk about grief often enough or well enough in our culture. And at the end, to help people see how one could summon resilience. And grief and loss is an opportunity. Not everyone takes that opportunity, but it's an opportunity to create a new normal, to create a new life for yourself.
What was it like for you in terms of going through the grief and the sense of loss? Did you find at any moment of that time that there was a spiritual awakening also occurring for you at the same time?
I had been a student of spirituality since I was a teenager. And so it was normal for me to really jump deeper into those realms of spirituality. And one of the things that happened, Justin, who had been a monk, he was also a deeply spiritual man. And the day after he died, he contacted me to let me know that he was there in some very funny ways and some unusual ways. And
Tell me one of them.
Found that comforting. One of the first one was I was sitting next to my daughter who had just arrived at the house, and sitting quietly and talking, and a pebble flew across the room and landed at my feet. And Holly and I looked down at the pebble, and we looked at each other. We looked down at the pebble, we looked at each other, and then very quietly she said, "Hi, Daddy." We both realized that there's no way that this pebble could travel 12 feet or whatever across the room without, and in some meaningful way, without it being somehow propelled by Justin. But after that, I found these things comforting. The other story is a hairdryer story, which is really funny. But I found these things comforting. But then there were moments that I was still felt devastated. We had been so close, working together in business, and we were best friends and great lovers. We just, we were so close on every level. And I began to have lucid dreams, which also I felt comforting. And then later on, learned how to reach him uh, using some techniques from the Monroe Institute. And so that was definitely a matter of spiritual growth and awakening for me.
Yeah, beautiful. I know it's been a while since Justin has left. Are you over him, or do you think you'll ever get over him? One, two, do you ever feel lonely?
Interesting question. I read that Meryl Streep responded to that question. Her first love died many years ago, and she says, I'm not over him, and I don't want to get over him." And uh, I think on some level, you never stop missing the people that you love deeply. Thank God. Thank goodness that we never quite, we don't get over that. But I don't feel deep grief any longer. I actually can feel Justin's presence in any moment. In fact, I don't really feel like I need to travel out to see him like I did many times. I can feel his presence anytime I think of him, and I feel very supported by him. And
That's so
so
beautiful.
that, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful because so many of us are looking for a partner to perfectly pair up with. It's just, it's continuous. Folks are just searching for someone, and sometimes people just have a way of popping up in your lives because maybe your energy is ready. Your energy is ready for a deep, meaningful encounter with someone because your marriage lasted for such a long time until Justin passed away. Was there something in the book that kind of stands out a lot for those who are listening? Like, is there a story that you think has stood out the most for you in the evolution of Silver Oak that most people would not already know?
Hmm. I think that Silver Oak became famous for having release days that thousands of people would show up at. And people often would ask me, "How did you create that?" But the real answer is we didn't. We didn't create it. What we did, like in most of life, that when you just are listening more deeply than you're trying to plan and do, um, we just responded. People started showing up. They knew when our lines would run out before the next release, and they knew when they were going to be released again, and they'd at our door. And the first time it happened, we found people there, and we went and got coffee and donuts. And then the next time it happened, we were ready with the coffee and donuts, but then we started getting lunch food for people, and we started serving them things while they were standing in line waiting for the doors to open. And then bit by bit, the event just got bigger. But it was really a response and a care for people that led to the high esteem, I think, that we enjoyed at Silver Oak for
At Silver Oaks.
really caring about our customers.
But
Yeah.
I have to say that I also think it must have been the energy that you all had put into it, which seemed to have come from a really genuine, conscious place, that you were doing something that you just thoroughly enjoyed. And to me, I've often found that that's really the success, is when you do something that you love. Doesn't matter if it brings you millions or pennies, you're satisfied at a soul level. I want to go back to something you said, which I think our listeners will appreciate a lot. You talked a lot about the listening, the deep listening. When you speak of deep listening, what does that entail? How do we develop the ability to deep listening? For me, I become blank. I want nothing from you. I have no expectations for myself. At that moment, I'm going to value everything that you say so I can receive the blessing or the gift that's going to come to me as a result of you taking the time to pause in your life to share with me a part of you. So then I show up with a blank slate just to hear you. That's been my practice. What's yours to develop deep listening?
I think what you just said is a part of it, but there's some trust involved, and that is trusting in my intuition, trusting in our intuition, and trusting the ideas that we get, what we think we hear, not just from another person, but from our business. Our business is like an individual, and we need to take care of it. It's not enough to work in your business or work on your business. You've got to actually, it's really like a relationship with an individual. And when I can listen to what's needed here, then the business will thrive. And through that, so will everyone who I work with. And we will all thrive, and our customers will thrive. So so it's just, listening not just to another person, but also to that energy. I'd like to say something else. When you talked about the energy at Silver Oak, I really do believe that our dedication to our values, they weren't just up on the wall. They were something that we really lived. And our love for each other, I really believe that those things made their way into the wine and made it more delicious. And it was contagious.
You know what? I would have wished I drank wine so I could enjoy your wine, but I don't. Maybe one day in the next lifetime. So what I'd like to do is to pause here. If anybody out there has any questions for Bonnie or myself, please take this time. And by the way, Bonnie, we have this wonderful community on YouTube and on Facebook, and everybody just participates. You've got greetings coming in from India, Diraj, Nikki, Yesvi, Meenakshi, Etta, Kailash, Portia Davidson. They're all telling you, thank you, Bonnie, thank you. They're giving you thumbs up because everyone's also participating in The Next Normal, which is our new show. So, of course, they're getting a little bit of a different flavor, and they're like, okay, let me readjust myself. So I'm trusting that everybody out there is really enjoying the softness still in the evening, but also the information that's being offered. So please, if you have a question for Bonnie, share it now, and we'd be happy to raise that point with her. Bonnie, when you, throughout the day, like how often as the questions come in, I'm curious to hear how often do you actually meditate or have moments for journaling or contemplation in a day?
Not often enough. I, my practice is to meditate for just a few minutes at a time. So I'll meditate first thing in the morning for 15 minutes to a half an hour. And then during the day, I'll really just stop and pause for a minute or two and ground myself and come back to the moment, to the present moment. That's a powerful practice, just that. I think I want to say something else about a great relationship. I believe I prepared myself. People wonder how they can find their way there. And in retrospect, I realized that there are a few things. I spent my teenage years really meditating on and writing about the nature of love. And I think it was that deep inquiry as to what really is love that helped prepare me for a great love and for that vulnerability that's required. And I think the unique part that Justin was a monk and really not available and we really realized we were in love with each other for 5 years. That's the adventure part of the story. Um, before he decided to leave the monastery, and we held our love for each other, and we held our our commitment to our relationship with absolutely no attachment to what that relationship would turn out to be. And I think that non-attachment practice was huge at the end of the day, because then the foundation that we had built from that discipline really helped make our relationship extraordinary.
And there's a question on Facebook. What is love? What did you understand that love is?
Okay, that's a big question. Love. So I think of love in terms that I read when I was a teenager. Teilhard de Chardin said, "Love is the most powerful force in the universe," and it's in a way like people ask me. It's almost the same question as what is God. It's indefinable, and yet when I am in that energy, I recognize it. I recognize it. That's not a very concrete answer. I really. What is love to you, Sister Jenna?
You, the community, being present, it flows, it gives and gives and gives and gives and gives and gives and asks nothing in return. And I think we deeply know that. I think deep down inside, we know that is what love is. That's why when we are with people that we like or we think resonate with us at the same wave level, we can feel the growth of that love. And when we find ourselves in relationships or in situations where it's not relating to us and we're having to dig into that compartment in the soul where that unconditional overflow of love resides, it challenges us because we've taken for granted the relationships that are the easy ones. So when those other relationships come, right, the ones that say, I see that you love this one a lot, but you're going to need to love me more because there's more in you. We miss that opportunity, and we start to criticize and complain and go into broken hearts and all of that. But I find that the whole energy of love, when I'm not in my loving place, Bonnie, and my love is getting replaced with attachment, I don't feel good. And I can feel it. And I can honestly say, but this isn't me. This isn't me. But then at that point, I can feel like there's a block and there's something there that I have to understand about myself so that that love can flow. And just like what you said, it's until I take my awareness, my intellect, my inner being to God, to Baba, to the source, to the supreme being, that I can allow the depth and the vastness of that love to gently soften my harshness that is blocking me from being the real me. And I've not seen it in any other format. I see it just, it gives, it gives, it gives, and it keeps giving.
One of the one of the things that little sayings that I remember from that my youth is that, and it's always stayed with me, is where there is no love, sow love, and there will grow love. In other words, you give first, and then love arises. And as you were talking, I was thinking that what love looks like, love is an energy. It's hard to describe, but what it looks like is it looks like patience and constant kindness and generosity of spirit, lightness of being, non-judgment. And I noticed that every now and then I slip into a little bit of impatience and judgment. And it, like you, it doesn't feel good. And in the end, it hurts our relationships. So then I come back, and I regroup into a
You
more
come back
loving
to your
place.
common sense. I tell you, I love it. I love life. So look, we're coming to a close to our wonderful chit chat and conversation on our next normal. Is there anything that you would like to share with our beautiful group of individuals that tune in regularly that would be a gift to them? A greater gift.
I feel I feel very honored that I'm on the first episode of The Next Normal. And I would like to invite and encourage everyone to really contemplate that. What would you like the next normal to be like in your life? And I know that I have some hopes and dreams about the next normal in terms of what's the next economy look like? Is it I'm hoping and intending and working toward it being a softer, more gentle way to be with each other and way to function in community with each other. And so what is the next normal? I think, well, I would like to offer that, but it's something really that you're offering today is the next normal. And then maybe the last thing I would say is the power of vulnerability and and surrender, and how important that is in life.
To give away a few of these today? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to give away 4 of Bonnie Meyer's book, Perfectly Paired, The Love Affair Behind Silver Oak Cellars. Now, what do we need to do, Bonnie, to get a free copy of your book?
So Sister Jenna has 4 copies. I have more. So if I have, and I'm happy to send copies of my book to anyone who requests them somehow via your show here. So I don't know how you would need to do that, but all is one's name and address, and I'll be happy to send books out everywhere that you'd like to be.
How about this? You have a website. I would like everybody to go to your website, which I believe is
BonnyMeyer.com. BonnyMeyer.com.
okay. So when they go to the website, they need to start to follow your social media link and share on your social media link what touched them in this conversation, and whoever sends a message on your social media link and hashtag the next normal with Sister Jenna, they get a free copy. How's that?
Perfect.
Love it. All right. Look, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was sweet. Can I tell you? This is what the next normal will be like. Community, dialogue, friendship, education, helping us to move the needle forward, and just love, just love. Thank you so much. Any final remarks? Any final thoughts that you'd like to leave us with? You've left us with a lot already.
I think, yeah, I think I did. Again, just in your own way, in your community, support the things that you want to see in the next normal as we go forward. So support those in your community, those little tiny businesses that may be struggling right now, and then open yourself to love.
Thank you. Bonny Meyer, thanks a lot. Everybody, you enjoyed Bonnie? Let's see your thumbs up. If you didn't like her, thumbs down. If you want her to come back, peace up. We loved her. But thank you all so much, Bonnie. Thank you so much. You made the show that much special tonight. It's been awesome. All the very best.
Mm. Thank you, Sister Jenna.
Lots of love from the heart.
Love being here. Yeah, thank you.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our time with Bonny Meyer. So go to herbonnymeyer.com for more information. And if you want a copy of her free book, you need to share what you took from the show tonight. And make sure you hashtag the next normal with Sister Jenna, hashtag Sister Jenna. Okay? And let's see how many of you get a book. And also just go on her website and find out a lot more about what she's doing. I am so happy with the way the next normal has been has opened and has become what it is. So hopefully to all of our friends in the community who has been with me from March 16th and all the wonderful sense of comforts, let me know what you've liked. Let me know what more you would like to see from us or hear from us. And we'd be happy to do our best to see if we can facilitate it. We're still the same folks, but we're just thinking a little bit more. We really want to be prepared for the next normal. For those of you who are tweeting and texting about what were the organizations that Bonnie mentioned, just scroll back on the show today. Just scroll right back and you can hear it again. I'm sure you'll be able to take a lot of benefit from the suggestions and the advice that Bonnie gave us today. So, as we come to a close of the show, it's been a splendid night. I'm so happy we launched it on Daddy Prakash Mani's 13th day of flying away and leaving us with blessings and light and might all around to make things better. And it's my pure wish that each and every one of you really begin to dig deep. Really. Listen with compassion and with trust what that deeper part of you is trying to tell you. Until we can answer that part of us, we can't feel completely free. So listen, find that perfectly paired part of you, that relationship that you need to establish with yourself becomes that perfect pair, that perfect connection, that perfect love affair, so that when you think of God, it's unlimited. When you think of your partner, your spouse, when you think of humanity, it comes from that part of you that you have created in you, which is your perfectly paired self. Okay? So lots of good wishes, lots of blessings. Enjoy the end part of the show. We have a new video. Thanks to Bharti Sarswat, who did this wonderful production of the Om Shanti song. Please stay tuned. It's not over yet. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love to everyone.
We find our nation on a precipice, true tipping point. Is this the moment that will finally change our country? Trying to rain on the thunder. Tell the storm I'm new. I'ma rain on this bitter love. Tell the sweet I'm new.
It's not a broken system. It was built to function exactly as it is.
We must respond with bold action.
This is our country too. We can build new systems that do what they should.
I'm a walk, I'm a march on the regular.
We are united. We are standing.
Follow away.
And we are going to fight this fight.
Freedom, I can't move. Freedom.
action, when we speak up, and when we offer solutions, we win.
I'ma keep running, cause a winner don't quit on themselves.
It's always the right time to celebrate women and Black women in particular.
It is an opportunity to show the nation and the world that we will act. It has been an inspiration.
You have the choice, and it is that choice that gives you power.
Vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
That is what we need next. Action.
Hi everyone, I'm Sister Jenna. Welcome to our special Zoom meditation segments. Look, it's no joke. Things are kind of weird. It's just weird. Pandemics, protests, job insecurity, global pause. Everyone's numb, but also everyone's searching. And they might be searching on this little gadget of Zoom in a little box. People from all over the world who don't know each other are coming together in Zoom rooms to figure out who they are, why they're here, and how to meditate. Meditation is something that we've often thought that if we make our minds empty, we've meditated. I don't believe that. I think it's important that we learn how to channel our thoughts in a right way that are connected to our vision, our goal, our spiritual attainments, our mental capacity. Then you're really meditating.
Together we make this choice. Together we make this choice. Together, Om Shanti. We're singing Om Shanti. Ooh.